Okay, and then if we take this down a notch, so that's sort of the company wide, and it sounds like you've become a resource for the company in a sense of the person who really has the skills to to bring to other departments if they need it.
Yes.
But what about individual classes? Like, how do you if you're giving classes or bringing training to the company in whatever fashion that is, how do you measure the success of that particular training or that particular class? What's your
Oh,
process for that?
sure. So the way that we do, we actually take quantitative and qualitative data in regards to that. So we've got a pretest that judges the knowledge about what a learner may or may not know about the topic before we get into it. Then the way that we do our leadership development content is actually we deliver it in a hybrid format.
Mm,
And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. But they do a pretest, then they do their web-based training, then they have their skill practice, and then we do follow up with a post test to see what how much of that content that they retain.
mm.
So we do definitely pre-post test, and then within that post test we also get qualitative feedback on how we as a facilitators are doing, how the content is helping them prepare themselves to be able to actually do this when they go out into the practice of leadership. Further on that we know that we've been successful is we also have company-wide pulse surveys that determine
Mm.
how our employees think about their leaders, think about the organization, and things like that. And then you can begin to see trends in data and how they collaborate or how they correspond with who's taken what course and who's how far that group of leaders has progressed throughout the curriculum.
Oh, interesting. And then do you have also are there other challenges that you have? We'll get into some of the challenges I know that kind of came to a head with the pandemic. But are there other challenges like marketing? Do you have challenges getting information out about your classes? Do you have any challenges in just letting people know what's available?
We've That's a great question. In terms of challenges for how the course that we have available, there's I'm going to say yes and no. And because there's some things that it's very evident what we have available,
Hmm.
because it's those leadership development courses. There's still we have 12 of them, and they are very popular, so they're constantly being accessed. So
Okay.
really, there's really no need for a lot of marketing about that. In the last 2 years, especially since the pandemic, we've initiated other sets of content. We've created the set of we call them they're micro trainings, little
Mm.
5 to 7 minute self-paced micro trainings that they can take. That we actively chose. Like it's not going to be mandatory. We're not going to we'll just put it out there and see what kind of organic growth that we can get from that.
Interesting.
And and some of the courses get a lot of organic growth, and then some of them not quite so much. And so what we've been doing is inside of our main leadership courses, we begin to kind of cross promote a little bit. And
Hmm.
so, this micro training supports this course that you just took. So if you want to know a little bit more about this topic, go take this one. You can take it on your own anytime you like.
Hmm.
We found that cross promotion has helped with the awareness of those things. Um, just this past year, we've begun promoting individual contributor courses to
Mm.
help build future leaders.
Oh,
And so that has come with a marketing campaign as well, to make them aware. The content isn't mandatory for people to take. It's hey, these things are available for you. I think if you're interested in a leadership type of path, these would be good things for you to take. So, uh,
right.
like I said, so it's a yes and no bag. Some things it's been a little bit harder. We've had to be a little bit more aggressive with the marketing with those micro trainings, but the larger courses, there seems to be a lot of demand for it, and so it's not much as a need to market them as well as we do.
Right. And it sounds like from your company's perspective, you've got kind of a centralized, corporate body that if you want information to get out to all employees, there's already a way to do that, right? Through
Yeah, we've got our HR communications team that we
yeah.
work very closely with them, and they get the message out to our
Okay.
leaders and to the rest of the organization.
Okay.
Um, we have a lot of corporate support for our initiatives, and that's taken a long time. I know for a long time. I mean, I think most larger organizations can say that. The first thing that gets cut during tough times is L&D, is learning and
Mm-hmm.
development,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's just you're a nice to have, not a need to have.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, our organization is evolved in that thought. It's like L&D is not a nice to have; it's a need to have because we need to continue to grow. So
That's great. You've got that support. It's really good.
it's great.
Um,
It's all part of our our corporate how the corporation manages or measures its success.
mhm.
L&D has a big part in that. So
Excellent.
the leadership attending the our leadership development courses is part of that scorecard. So it's pretty neat.
I think I might have noticed that on the website, the company website, where they have kind of the company who we are as a company. I think that might have fed into that. You're lucky. You're lucky.
Very lucky. I know I'm very blessed for where I work with. That's for sure. It is a fantastic.